How's it going, friends? Reckless Yuki here. Hope you guys do a fantastic. Thank you guys for checking out the video. I do greatly appreciate it. And in this video, we're going to be reviewing this, which is a cheap mechanical keyboard for $40 on Amazon right now. It's from a company called Velocifire, and it's the model number VM01. And the company sent this out to me, so I didn't actually have to pay for this. But I was actually really happy that they reached out to me because this is something that I've been wanting to do. I wanted to review a cheap keyboard to basically give my opinions on it because all I ever used were nice expensive keyboards like my current Corsair K70 RGB, which is a keyboard that I really like. But I was kind of curious to know how a $160, $170 keyboard would compare to something that costs only $40. So that's basically what I'm going to be going over in this video. And I have to say, I've been using this for about a week, been able to finish up some assignments for the end of the semester, and also use it for gaming like CSGO. And honestly, like, I think like a $40 mechanical keyboard is absolutely fine as long as you're okay with the keys and you're okay with not having RGB lighting, which this does not have. But anyways, we're just going to take a closer look into the keyboard now. All right, here we are with the Velocifire VM01, and I have to say it's a pretty nice keyboard for only being $40, and it's decently heavy. It definitely has some heft to it. The body is all plastic. It's basically all plastic keys, so there's nothing really too fancy here, but what can you expect for $40? On the bottom side here, all you get are these rubber pads for non-slip usage when you're keying or gaming, which is nice, but it doesn't have any adjustability, but that's perfectly fine. I really haven't had a need to adjust it during my 2 weeks of using it. I felt it was perfectly fine just using it the way it is, especially when you get a nice wrist pad. It just felt perfectly fine. I had no complaints. The keys itself, like basically you get this little key puller here, and if we just pull one of these keys, it's these, even though these are brown, these are definitely not Cherry MX Browns. These are definitely a clone of Cherry MX, but it feels as, basically feels like a red. So if you're used to Cherry MX Reds, that's what these basically feel like. There's no feedback, tactile feedback, and they're easy to press down. And the keys here, they kind of look like they're double shot. I'm not sure if they truly are, but I mean, the keys feel fine, especially for $40. I haven't had any complaint. The only complaint I had about the keys itself is the font looks a little funny. And some of the lights, you can't really see it, but the lights don't kind of evenly show through. It has like a really bright spot in the center, and then it kind of dims out. Let me turn off the light here so you guys can see a better shot of it. Now with the lights turned off, you can have a better idea of how this looks. And as you see the space bar here, it's really bright in the center, but on the outer edges, it kind of dims out along with the shift key, the caps key, various keys that have long text like the enter. It might be a little bit weird for some of you guys who expect perfection, but for $40, I have to say that there's no actual real flaws with this. It's just little gripes. At the top row here, we have these function keys that basically you hold down the function key right here. So instead of giving you two stupid Windows keys, they give you a function key that lets you control some media. So like your search calculator, your music player, you could bring those up. Basic media controls, volume controls, and a lock key right here. So if you press that, the keyboard goes into lock. These three buttons are shining, and basically nothing you press will affect what you do with your PC. So if you hold this down again and press a lock, then it comes out of lock. And then over here at the top right, you basically have this button that will allow you to change the mode in which you want the lights on here to show up. So the lights on here are stagnant blue. It's this stagnant like teal color, but you do have some options on how you want it to, if you want it to like shine in different ways. So we have the solid light here, and you can dim it down, make it bright. So that's basically as bright as it goes. And then if you press this, you get this breathing effect. And if you want to slow it down, you can. Then if you want to speed it up, you can. So that's basically how you control the speed of it. And if you go through the functions, it basically has this waterfall effect kind of thing. If you want to reverse waterfall, it'll go the other way. And then if you want to lay down some bricks to make a wall, it will do that function as well. And then it will do it in the reverse way. So that's basically it for the functionalities of the lights, and then goes back to solid if you just want a nice solid light. So that's kind of the extent as far as the features of this keyboard. Not sure if I mentioned this already, but the USB cable here is this non-braided rubber coating, which is perfectly fine, and it doesn't detach from the keyboard whatsoever. It's basically built in there, so you can't swap it out easy if you do a nice job routing this cable. But that's perfectly fine. I wouldn't expect that feature from a $40 keyboard. It would have been something that would have been nice, but I could definitely understand, especially if my $170 Corsair K70 doesn't have that feature either. And I could honestly care less about a braided cord. It doesn't offer any sort of enhancements. It's just a little nice feature, but it's not necessarily whatsoever. And so to end it off, we're just going to go into a sound test of how these knockoff Cherry MX Reds sound when you type on them at various speeds. So hope you guys enjoy that. All right, so that's my close look at the Velocifire VM01, a mechanical keyboard that you could get for $40. I have to say that it's a fantastic keyboard. I've been using it for about maybe 2 weeks now, and I've been able to use it for my accounting homework, for the rest of my papers I had to finish up for the rest of the semester, as well as for CSGO. And I can't say that I was at a disadvantage when playing those games or doing homework. I felt that this was more than adequate to do the things that I need to do, and for such a cheap price, this is just a fantastic keyboard that has plenty of features that you would need. Now, it doesn't have RGB lighting, like I said, doesn't have some of the things that my Corsair K70 has, like a nice scroll wheel for the volume and things like that. But I could definitely make do with this keyboard. And if this is all I had, I'd be perfectly content. The only thing I would recommend is possibly getting a nice cushy wrist pad, because it doesn't really have any. But I like how it's short and it allows you to put your own wrist pad there so you can have something that you enjoy instead of some cheap plastic piece of crap that most of the mechanical keyboards come with, like even the really expensive ones. But anyways, that's it for my review. That's it for my thoughts. Definitely check out the link in the description. I'll have a link to Amazon where you can pick this up. And if you do buy one of these, it helps out my channel. I do greatly appreciate it. But anyways, that's it. I'll talk to you guys again in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.